Cain and Abel, they are descendants of the Anunnaki according to some indications. Of course, the Christian theology says that they were two brothers, the first two children of Adam and Eve. And of course, Abel was very much blessed by God because he was directed and praying to God continuously, whereas Cain was more of the world. But let's continue to what some of these indications, and I'll leave a link below for the articles. You can see the bibliography is very extensive. And one of the sources is Velikovsky, Immanuel Velikovsky, undated from In the Beginning. And of course, various mythologies. Now, going to this, according to Sasha Lessin, the first brothers of creation, Cain and Abel, are children of Anunnaki from the planet Nibiru, she claims. Through data from texts quoted, she presents us with a story of before their birth, also after it. Many coincide with what we know from the Old Testament, saying about 200,000 years ago in Africa, Enki from the planet Nibiru, a leading scientist in the field of gold mining on Earth, fertilized two girls derived from hybrids designed with a few Homo erectus genes. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So these Homo erectus genes adapted to the hybrid from the Homo sapiens genome from Nibiru in order to create slaves on Earth. Now, one of the girls gave birth to a boy, Adapa, the other a girl named Titi, and Enki kept his paternity secret. Enki's wife, Damkina, quote, taught Tiki all kinds of crafts. At Adapa, Enki taught him how to preserve the files he had for guidance. Encounters 47 Enki, 167 to 170. I brought a civilization, man to the fore, Enki boasted. A new kind of earthly from my own seed has been created in my image and in my likeness. From the seed they will grow, sheep will shepherd, Anunnaki and earthlings. From now on they will have to be full. Adapa and Titi, Enki's son and daughter, mated. Titi gave birth to twins Cain and Abel, the first Adapite people from Adapa and Titi, people with far more genes from Nibiru thanks to Enki's genetic injection than the Homo erectus genes from their mothers. The girls with whom Enki had mated, Enki trains his albeit illegal son Adapa. He ordered Adapa to teach their descendants the terrestrial Nibiruan enhanced genetic material to manage farms, herds, estates, and less fortified terrestrials. Enki brought earthlings from Africa to Sumeria for Adapa to train them in the mission of the boss, whatever that means. Enki's heir, Marduk, bypassed his son Adapa Abael and taught him about the goats and sheep he brought from the planet Nibiru. To confront Marduk and Cain, Commander Enlil had Ninurta's son teach Abael how to grow the fortified grain he also brought from Nibiru. Commander Enlil ordered that only his own people and not Enki's would manage the land, so Ninurta taught Cain and Marduk taught Abael. At the feast of the first, Cain offered the first grains. Abael showed Enlil and Enki the first lambs. Enki praised Abael's lambs for their meat and wool, but said nothing about Cain's grain. In the absence of Enki's blessing, Cain largely felt wronged and the twins fought for an entire winter. Did they disagree with what yielded the most? The grains and canals full of Cain fish, or the meat and wool of Abel's sheep? In the summer, when Abel's meadows and pastures dried up and shrank, Abel led his herds through the ditches and canals of Cain to drink. But with that, Cain got angry, and the twins fought with their fists until Cain did away with Abel with a stone, sat down, and broke in tears. This is in Enki 183 to 184. Now the offspring of Cain multiply. Enki took Cain to Eridu to be tried by Enlil, Ninki, Ninurta, and Nanar on Enlil's side, and by Ninman, Enki, Damkina, and Marduk on Enki's side. Marduk, Abel's mentor, told them to do away with Cain, but Enki revealed that it was Cain's grandfather, so Cain was a relative of Marduk. Cain will have to live, Enki said, to breed higher earthlings to work in pastures and mines. If Cain is exterminated, food supplies will gradually disappear, and riots will eventually follow. The seven ruled. To the east is a land of wandering, they must depart, for the evil done by Cain. Cain and his generations will stand out. Beards will not be able to grow on his face. The rare Indians of Western Hemisphere are descendants from Cain, they said. Genesis 2:01, Cain with his sister Awan as a husband left Eden. They wandered in the deserts to the east. Genesis 2:01, Enki 186 to 187. The king of Nibiru, Anu, as Enki had asked him, refused to activate the longevity genes which all Nibirians have in Adapa, Cain's father. Nevertheless, Adapa lived for hundreds of years. Shortly before he died, Ninurta took Cain back to see his father in Eden. Adapa's eyesight had dropped considerably, so in an attempt to recognize his child, he touched his face and realized he had no beard. Adapa said to Cain, "For your sin you are deprived of your ancestral right, but from your seed 7 nations will come. In a remote place they will thrive, distant countries will inhabit. But because you killed your brother with a stone it will be your end." Ninurta returned Cain to the deserts east of Eden, where he gave birth to sons and daughters. From them a city was built, and as he was building it, a falling stone killed Cain, but Ninurta may have killed Cain. ZS Wars 112. Cain's survivors planted, founded and ruled the city of Nud, also called Dunu, and Nudun. The sons of Cain's successors for the next 4 generations overtook their fathers. For the next 3 generations, every Nud ruler killed his parents, married his sister, ruled. One of Cain's very distant grandchildren is Enoch, who succeeded him 4 generations later. Enoch married his sister Ada and Zillah. Ada's first son, Jabal, lived in tents and grazed cattle. Her second son, Jubal, played the lyre and flute. Enoch's wife, Zillah, bore Tubal-Cain, a craftsman of gold, copper, and iron. Now the descendants of Adapa and Titi and their dispersal. Titi had 30 sons and daughters with her brother Adapa. The Nimbirians dispersed them to teach them writing, mathematics, digging wells, making oils, playing the harp and flute. Nanar gave them ceremonies for himself and other Nibiruans in order to worship them as gods. Enki taught astronomy to one of his descendants, Enkim. Marduk put Enkim on a rocket and launched it to the moon and Mars, then led it to spacecraft in Sipar to oversee earthlings from the Shamash. This I've translated from a Greek article, and it's a very extensive list of where he got his sources from, including Zechariah Sitchin and the 12th Planet, Tellinger, Slave Species and Gods, and Immanuel Velikovsky, Undated in the Beginning, and things like that. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.